Hello my friends.
We are infinitely grateful that we have another opportunity to see you all again.
Today we want to talk about the aftermath of the release of Sunken City as well as the facts, secrets and speculation surrounding the year of the Hydra. The announcement of the new year of Hearthstone has been very uninformative, which leaves a lot of room for speculation.
But before we talk about the current situation, let's take a step back and recap the year of Griffin.
We believe the rewards track can be a good indicator of the game's health. The more interesting and engaging the content, the more likely you will spend more time in it, which means that you will reach a higher level at the end of the expansion phase. Throughout the year, we collected data about your rewards track level, as well as the percentage of players who purchased a tavern pass. Thanks to each of you for your concern for our experiment. We would not be able to test our assumption without your help.
The average level of our community at the end of the Barons phase was 200. During the same time in Stormwind, players managed to reach, on average, 192 levels. Despite the fact that some players began to abuse the AFK experience grind in Mercenary mode, this did not help increase overall time spent in the game. At the end of the last expansion phase, players only managed to reach level 184 on average.
If we subtract quest rewards and at least 40% of the rewards for completed achievements from total XP earned, we can establish the average duration of the daily gaming session of our community.
The total player engagement during the Barons phase is equivalent to a 62-minute daily ladder gaming session with a 50% win rate. In Stormwind, players spent 8 minutes less time each day. In Alterac Valley, players spent only 30 minutes a day playing, which is 2 times less playtime than the previous 2 expansions. Of course, our calculations aren't overly reliable since they can't be extrapolated to the progress of all types of players. For example, the level of engagement of Battlegrounds players may be significantly higher. But even these rather conditional results show reduced interest in the game.
Speaking of reliable data, last year we received a small report with the results of the Year of Phoenix, which contained very interesting data on gaming activities. We were even able to interpret some of the numbers to determine player engagement throughout 2020. This year, Blizzard left us without any official statistics. Perhaps they don't consider it important, or the results aren't impressive enough.
Let's finally move on to the new year. As for me, the choice of a 3-headed Hydra is very symbolic. Each head represents one of the 3 main game modes: traditional Hearthstone, Battlegrounds and Mercenaries. We should expect very big and important changes for these game modes.
The visual demonstration of this year's innovations has been extremely disappointing. The roadmap doesn't even adequately show the developers' most important plans. Everything we see here is predictable except for the 2 locked icons. The image shows balance changes, tavern brawls and seasonal events, but strangely no mention of duels mode support, solo adventures, or even announced interface features like random hero skins and in-game reporting. Yet even Diamond Legendaries had their own slot on the roadmap. If changes are planned, and we know for certain that there will be many important changes, it would be logical to place them all on the roadmap.
The speculation around 2 locked icons could go on forever. Behind the first locked spell, a solo adventure is most likely hidden. The fact is that Sunken City is the first set since August 2017 that did not receive any type of solo experience during the expansion phase. Most likely we are in for a big solo adventure, perhaps even in the style of Dungeon Run. To be honest, I really miss this format.
Raren made an extremely interesting assumption about the fate of the second locked spell. In his video, he put together facts that signal the possible arrival of a new evoker class in Hearthstone. This is a very good video that you should check out.
The year of Hydra is likely to be a year of improvements that will bring back as many players as possible. A new class is the best way to draw attention to the game, but is Evoker a good enough reason to do so? I'm not sure about this yet. At the same time, I have almost no doubts about the appearance of a new class in the near future.
Did you know that locked icons can disappear from the roadmap? For example, the 3rd phase of the Year of the Griffin contained a locked spell, but it disappeared after the announcement of the 3rd expansion. What it was supposed to be we don't know, we can only speculate. Perhaps behind the disappearance of locked spells was the first major expansion of the Mercenaries mode, which was cancelled due to its complete failure. Another possibility is new interface features, such as upgrading normal cards into golden versions. But new game features like this apparently didn't deserve their own icons on this year's roadmap, so this is unlikely. All this looks extremely mysterious.
Now let's talk about the current state of affairs in the standard format. The release of Voyage to the Sunken City made a huge splash in the metagame.
According to the results of the first 2 weeks, the overall popularity of Sunken City cards is over 36%. 113 cards out of 135 are useful. Over the past 4 years, we have never seen such a high result. Moreover, such indicators are indeed phenomenal for the first set of the year. As a rule, the first set is rather weak and doesn't usually have such a big impact on the metagame. It is also worth noting the high level of diversity of strategies. In total, over 50 archetypes are used in the current metagame. The standard meta has received a much-awaited breath of fresh air, but that doesn't mean the metagame is healthy and balanced.
The core set rotation was another very important improvement. The number of free cards has increased, but more importantly, most of the new cards have proved to be quite useful. Of the 72 cards, 50 are used for deck building. The overall popularity of the set was over 28%. In other words, players currently have access to a quarter of the required cards for decks. Never before has a core set shined so brightly.
The new expansion paralyzed the wild format. Removing the restrictions from kill fast proved to be a huge mistake, and resulted in an uncontrollable miracle druid. At the same time, Priest's new spell switcheroo allowed the darkness to see gameplay. I may be wrong, but I get the impression that the developers deliberately allowed the creation of this combination. I love how players with each expansion try to find combinations of cards to break the game, and maybe the developers sometimes let them get there. Of course, this is bad for competitive play, but at the same time it leaves room for creativity and evokes emotions.
A few more words about the Wild format. During a Q&A session, Dean Ayala stated that Team 5 is developing a special set exclusively for Wild. It will consist of old cards as well as some new Wild-only cards. With the help of new cards, developers will try to revive old Wild archetypes that lack synergies. Thus, there will be even more cards in Hearthstone. I really like the idea of a set of useful cards for the Wild format. But I don't see much point in making Wild-only cards. Each standard expansion of 170 cards has enough slots for additional Wild cards.
The classic format was much less fortunate. It seems that the developers have no definite plans for the development of the format. They even seriously discussed the idea of changing the classic format to some other format.
We have to mention one more constructed format. Despite the fact that duels did not get a place on the roadmap, the League of Explorers broke into the mode as new heroes. But the most interesting innovation is the additional ability to unlock new signature treasures for heroes in a solo adventure. We really like the idea of interaction of some modes with others. According to Dean Ayala, Duels is still in active development, but unfortunately the mode has no new big-ticket features in the near to mid-term.
Unlike the Duels mode, Battlegrounds is in for a major change. Hearthstone's most popular mode has just gotten a major update. We got new type of creature, Nagas. But the most important thing will happen in the middle of the year. The mode will get its own progression system. Our time spent playing will translate into in-game rewards. Most likely, Battlegrounds will receive its own separate analog of the rewards track. My only concern is, will players still be able to progress in the main reward track while playing Battlegrounds?
I was curious if the release of new content had an effect on increasing the interest of players in game modes. One of the few available ways to determine this is by number of views on Twitch. Over the course of a week, I collected data on the number of viewers of the 3 main game modes. The intermediate results surprised me. For the first time in a very long time, Hearthstone's constructed and draft modes began to compete with Battlegrounds in terms of audience interest. Moreover, the channel streamed the so-called traditional Hearthstone more. Just a sad fact, in all this time we have not found a single channel that streamed Mercenaries with an audience of more than 100 viewers.
Speaking of Mercenaries, the developers are serious about changing the mode. The first, very important step has already been taken. A completed task will automatically give you the next task for that mercenary, which makes hunting for the mysterious stranger pointless.
The mode will receive big patches in the middle of each expansion phase. The developers are planning a larger task system rework as well as working on new endgame content. Max-level mercenaries should get new special traits and power, but we bet access to these improvements will cost additional coins. Also later this year, the long-awaited ability to convert coins should appear.
Let me, as a fan of the mode, put forward a few suggestions. Firstly, in about a month we can expect the opening of pre-orders for a new set of mercenaries. In that case, we really hope that Blizzard will increase the value of packs. This release may come at the same time as the quest system is being overhauled. Under the current conditions, buying packs is absolutely useless. Active players could receive packs for completing the Mercenaries questline, and hold on to them until the release of the next patch with new mercenaries, to get new heroes for free. Such an opportunity definitely makes it harder to monetize the mode. And one more thought. The community is really looking forward to the coin conversion system, but I wouldn't expect too much from this feature. Most likely, Blizzard will not let you get rid of extra coins and then craft coins for the specific mercenaries. The mercenary economy has absolutely nothing to do with the economy of traditional Hearthstone.
In my opinion, the coin conversion system may consist in the automatic conversion of excess coins into packs. For example, if you collect 500 extra coins from a certain expansion, you will unlock a pack of that expansion. If you already have a ton of extra coins, then this approach will not allow you to get a big advantage and break the economy of the game. In this case, your supply of coins will gradually melt away, bringing you a fully upgraded collection of classic mercenaries and a collection of skins in return. Thus, you will have to grind the mercenaries from the new expansion from the very beginning.
I think this approach reflects the original philosophy of the mode. Even if the system from Team 5 Inches is different, most likely it will be based on this logic.
In any case, I'm very interested in what system Blizzard will come up with, and what game design methods they will use to bring the mode back to life.
And one last fun fact for today. In the video about the death of traditional Hearthstone, we made an assumption about possible changes in the game after the rotation. As you can see, none of our assumptions came true. After the release of the new year, the traditional Hearthstone got better, but in a global sense it remained the same. Perhaps more radical changes to the game are expected throughout the year, but the developers have kept all the details in the shadows. What do you think of the Year of the Hydra? Are the announced changes enough to bring players back to Hearthstone? Share your thoughts in the comments.
That's all for today. Thanks for being with us.
Finally, we would like to express our gratitude to our patrons.
Dear friends, your support helps us to stay afloat during this difficult time.
And a special, huge thank you to Chris for his help and support.
We hope to be able to get in touch in the future.
Take care of yourself and good luck.
Job's done.